Hi everybody, this is Tom with Culture Chap. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I want to show what it takes for a director and a scenic designer to come together and really investigate a show. The show is Wait Until Dark. It's being done by Hillborn Theater in Foster City, that's in the San Francisco Bay Area. And at this recording, it's running, it's up and running. When we did the recording originally, the audio recording, was before the show had started. You need to plan in advance. So, Wait Until Dark it's in the 1940s. It's about a blind woman fighting off intruders in her apartment, criminals, three of them, who want an item and are threatening her life to get it. And the item, not giving away too much, the item has already left her presence, which I'm not sure if she knows or not, but it's been swiped by a little girl who lives upstairs, who helps her out with her shopping. The item comes back, blah, blah, blah. The stakes are high. A lot of these older plays, the stakes are not as high. They're still very high in this, and they remain so. There's nothing about the era that the play is done that diminished the stakes. She's blind. Three men are trying to get the item, and if she gets in the way, they'll get her. And she has to fight them off. There's killing, there's blood, there's a knife fight, a lot happens. So the set of the play is essential that it be perfect so that she can fight them off in her own apartment. Now, I don't think anyone is ready for a fight in their own apartment, much less if you're visually impaired or blind. So the stakes, like I said, are high. This is mostly an audio recording of a director talking to me about how they read the script and reread the script and went to their designer and the things they came up with. This is all before they get into the first rehearsal. They have to figure almost everything out. Getting into rehearsal and then into dress rehearsal and to tech added so many layers that if the beginning wasn't started perfectly thought out, then they would have had many more problems with the rest of it. Things like tracking coats, tracking knives. What if a knife gets lost? There has to be a backup knife. I mean, she's blind. She can't actually look for the knife if it slips out of her hand, which is inevitable in a fight scene. Things happen. On and on and on. So please listen. I know in the first few minutes you might think it's a little boring because you're just staring at a JPEG of a drawing of a set. But I promise you, everything in that picture is essential. Everything in that picture that we talk about that has to be reinforced because of the fights in the show is essential. So there'll be a few pictures of the show, of the cast, of the finished product set, but mostly it is the elevation of the set. And please listen and realize what it takes to do really great shows. This is a great show to do. It's very tense. In a way, you could think of it as a show that's not too expensive because the set doesn't change. There's nothing moving. You have to do a good set and you have to reinforce it. But it's not like it's a costume parade of clothing. It's not like the set does anything special, no electronics, no nothing. So if you get it right, it's a good show to do that doesn't cost you a lot. What it really shows off is talent of the actors, which is great. Okay, enjoy it. Like and subscribe, and come back for more. Hi, this is Tom with Culture Chap, and I'm here with director Vickie Rozell, and she is directing Wait Until Dark, which is an incredible play about a recently diagnosed blind woman trapped in her apartment with thieves. Vickie can tell you more about that, but we can't give away too much, which is great. This is a recording that we happen to come upon each other. We planned a weekend coming from afar to go to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and she was showing me her incredible ground plan for her set and how she worked with her set designer about all the details. This is really a video about theater's collaborative art form. A director must work closely with their set designer and costume designer. But this is the set designer, this discussion, and all the details that go into the show to make it work. I could say it's complex, but once you iron out everything and comb through the script several times, all that information is pertinent. Vickie,
Hello.
Please tell us about your set. It's wonderful.
The show itself, the set itself looks simple, but in fact, because of all of the action that happens during the course of the play, it's actually very complex to get everything in the right place and make sure that everything will work. Obviously first, my set designer and I each read the script, and then she brought me a design, and we sat down and went through the script.
And what is her name?
Sarah Fickett.
Great.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
And what theater is this for?
It is for Hill Barn Theater in Foster City, California.
Great. Thank you.
And so as we started looking at it, we realized that some of the things that she had placed weren't going to work. And that happens all the time. It's not a big deal. So we talked through it. The staircase started on one of the side walls rather than up center.
Oh, really?
And the problem was it blocked all the sight lines back into the windows.
Oh, no.
Which were very important. So we shifted it around and moved, because basically the whole set, as you can see, it's a one bedroom apartment. So there's not much there, but exactly where everything is very important.
Okay.
So after that initial conversation, she took a lot of notes and shifted things around. The kitchen, which had been upstage, was now stage right.
Okay.
And the stairs that were stage right were now upstage.
Right.
And then we sat down again and literally pulled out the script. There is a very intense action scene at the end of the play. I'm not going to tell you much more than that because it gives away the play.
Yes.
But there are very specific requirements that have to happen that are written into the script. And the only way to make sure that we were close was to slowly read the script out loud, the stage directions, not the script, the stage directions out loud.
That's an important detail.
Together and say, okay, this person could go over there to do that, and they could go here, okay, and then if this person is over here. We literally had to think through one possible blocking setup. It's not the set one, but to make sure that everything made sense.
And this, as we're looking at this picture together for this video, this is the entrance from the outside into her apartment and then down the stairs.
Correct.
Okay. And this is a lower apartment in Greenwich Village.
Yeah, it's a basement apartment, and there's a hallway outside that is also important to the action.
Oh.
One of the things you discover quickly is that everything also depends on the configuration of the actual theater you're in.
Yes.
Because we're going to have to finagle stuff to make that hallway real. Because we don't have very much space back there.
Okay.
And not as much space as you would want.
Okay.
But we have figured out, kind of how we can make that happen. Because it all happens out of the view of the audience, so we can fudge.
Okay. And I understand these stairs, they had some in stock, but they are too wide.
Yeah,
too
they
large.
had some in stock, but because of the size of the room and because of all of the action, we couldn't give up as much acreage as the stairs were going to take. We had to have a narrower set of stairs. So my understanding at this point in time, they're only just starting to build the show, so things may change, but that they're going to have to build the stairs. We also have to think through, because there's people running up and down the stairs, there's people who fall down the stairs. So then you have to stop and think, we need to make that safe.
Yeah.
So the stairs will be carpeted and padded.
Oh, okay.
And you have to make sure there's enough space at the base of the stairs so that the people falling down the stairs don't immediately run into furniture when they get to the base of the stairs.
Okay.
Which is part of why we had to shift them over some to make sure that there was enough landing area.
Yeah.
to keep that all safe, because there was a huge amount of business up and down the stairs and in and out the door. And we had to make sure that more than one person could stand on the landing, because that's also required by the script.
Oh. And your door opens inwards or outwards to the hallway?
The door opens inwards.
Okay.
And that's also important in the script.
Understood.
You're getting the feel for it. It's constantly, oh, but we have to be able to do this. Oh, but that has to work over here. There's also the set of doors underneath the stairs are also called for in the script. That area gets used, an actor goes in there. So then it has to be finished to a degree that it is safe for the actor.
Okay.
Plus we have to, put stuff in it so it's dressed and looks like it would, because that's, as you can see, they're pretty much their only storage space in the apartment. So.
Oh yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah. And then the thing next to those double doors by the stairs is a safe. You can't really tell from the picture. Also called for in the script.
Okay.
And because it takes place in the 40s, the telephone has a cord.
Okay.
So then we had to figure out where the heck does the phone sit. And that's how the safe ended up where it is.
Okay.
Is that it allowed us to also turn it into a telephone table.
Okay.
What else? There's an empty space under the windows back by where that male figure is. And because we have to have another piece of furniture, because there's another piece of business that is vital to the plot, where someone gets trapped behind the fridge door.
Okay.
And if there's nothing there, they're not trapped.
Okay.
Right? So they can get out. So we have been bouncing around a lot of ideas for that piece of furniture. People suggested benches. Is it a bookcase? Is it like a larder with canned goods? Is it? And then you have to weigh that against, oh, wait, there's people falling down the stairs. If they accidentally hit it and it's a larder, they're going to have cans on their head.
So that deemed a more solid piece of furniture or...
Exactly. And what we are currently thinking, because it's the 40s and radios were still quite large, that we will put a standing radio there.
Wonderful.
Which will serve the purpose of the play. It also helps tell the story, because the woman who lives there is blind.
Yes.
And that gives her something to listen to. And TV was not a thing at this point in time. So there's not a TV in the house because nobody would have one. So it not only solved our problem, it became part of the story as well.
This further area after her kitchenette, this door here, is that a bathroom or a bedroom or something? Is that part of the action?
It is indeed.
Okay.
And it has changed life along the way. There are, as you can see, there's two doors. There's one also up left next to what is a photo table.
Right.
And
pardon, so we are talking about this downright, stage right door.
Correct.
Yeah.
The set has to have two interior doors. Oh. One is a closet.
Oh.
One is a bedroom. So when Sarah first brought it to me, the bedroom was down right and the closet was up left. And during our conversation, we switched that so that the closet was downstage and the bedroom was upstage. Now, there is a reveal in the closet, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. And we finally, after we looked into everything we had to do for the reveal, it became clear that it should not be in the downstage corner. So
because it would reveal too much?
Because it would reveal too much.
Okay, yeah.
So we flipped them again. So we're actually now back where we started. So the down right one is the bedroom and the up left one is the closet, giving you good sightlines for the reveal.
Got it.
And making some of the other bits, improving them.
Okay.
I mean, there are, as with everything, some things were better with the bedroom upstage. Some things are better with the bedroom downstage. And literally what I did when we realized the problem was go back to the script and read through the whole script again and figure out, am I going to lose too much if we move this down here? Oh, no, wait, this moment is actually going to be better. Okay, this moment isn't going to be as good, but okay, that's fine. We can balance it.
Okay.
So that's how that decision got made.
What else is on stage left?
The brown thing against the wall is a photo table. The husband is a photographer.
Oh.
And so that is where he develops pictures, which is also why there are big, heavy curtains on the windows, because there are blackout curtains. Both because he's a photographer and you have to, in order to develop things, it has to be completely dark, and because it is important to the script that at certain points it can be completely dark in the room.
Okay.
So, and the windows were interesting because they open on outside in this basement apartment. But after we had cast the show, we realized that our actor was reasonably tall, and we wanted to make sure that it wasn't too easy for him to prop the drapes open. So we had to. That's why the male figure in the set design is standing right under the window, is so that we can see how tall he is. We didn't want him to be able to either stand on the steps and prop the windows open, prop the drapes open, or walk up and easily be able to do it, because it ruins the bit.
And I've always thought that it's important in ground plans or sketches or anything about the set to have a human figure in it to reference these things, especially in this show.
Yes.
Your center furniture, how did you decide to arrange that?
It's interesting because the script only calls for a sofa and a side table.
Oh, no little kitchen table?
Well, in the kitchen table, sorry. I was looking at the living room. So the kitchen table, we didn't want too much clutter, and there's only 2 people living in the apartment, so there's only 2 chairs.
Okay.
So that was easy. The living room area, I asked for an extra chair and the coffee table, because it didn't seem like a place people would live.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It just, if you had a 1-bedroom apartment, would you just have a sofa in the middle of the room with a side table and that's it?
Yeah.
No.
Because this isn't a story about poverty.
Right. So we added a little bit more furniture. Both the sofa and the side table are required in the script.
Okay.
I asked for the side chair. It's actually not going to be that kind of chair that you're seeing in the drawing. It'll be shorter because of sight lines.
A shorter back.
Shorter back.
Understood.
Because it's too hard to see around that for some of the audience. So we'll just have something with a shorter back. And actually, when we swapped the bedroom back to down right, it made more sense to put that chair on the other side of the grouping.
Okay.
So that chair is now going to be on the left side of the grouping.
Understood.
Instead of the right.
And are you doing the same thing with the dining chairs, having a lower back?
Probably not, because of the style of the chairs and the table. They're usually metal.
Oh, okay.
They're that of that era.
Understood.
And so
right.
you're kind of stuck, if you will, with whatever size they are.
And are any of these furniture items being reinforced because of the action of the play, the fights,
Not as much as you might think, because most of the fights and things take place away from them.
Okay.
It's not going to be a bunch of people rolling on the couch, or not. We may knock over the dining room chairs, but those are pretty sturdy.
I guess my concern was the tables, especially the side table, which is a small piece, and
we'll see.
Looks like fun to pick up in a fight.
Exactly. We shall see once we get the fight choreographer into rehearsal. If she feels like that is important, then clearly we can do that. I mean, they're all going to be found items.
Okay.
So, it just depends on what happens. And the downstage bookcase is in flux until we get in there and see it in the sight lines and make sure that it works. Yeah. But the nice thing about it is it gives a good reason for people to go downstage. You can sit on it. You can take something off of it without doing something like, oh, look, the pictures that we're talking about are hanging on the fourth wall, which usually annoys me. Sometimes it works, but so we'll see how that piece goes once we get into the theater. And it's not, it's not a big deal if we have to cut it.
Right.
But I would like to have it if I can.
And there's no little telephone table, tiny stool or anything. It's not that kind of show.
No.
And is the telephone, is part of the action having a long cord that she can walk around with it, or is it all calls are taken right there?
In general, all calls are taken right there. We may find in the blocking that it would be nice to be able to have it, have the receiver handed across.
Right.
We'll know when we get there.
And this phone will be completely practical, or it's just sound effects? I suppose in a fight sequence near a phone like this, the idea is that it will keep dropping to the ground and making its own noise.
Well, hopefully it will not drop to the ground at all.
Okay.
Because it's a vintage piece. So
this is really just pick up the receiver and talk and stay in place. Mm-hmm. That seems very safe.
It does ring, but there will be... They're still deciding how that sound cue will work.
Right. And your balustrade for the stairs is reinforced?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes.
Has to be.
It has to be. And the little thing by the corner of the stairs there on stage left is a coat rack. You can see it better by looking at the floor than you can by looking up.
Yeah, yes.
But there's people coming in and out, and the husband goes out on a photography job. So we figured there needed to be a place for the coats and stuff to go, and it might come in handy in the fight. Not that anyone's going to hit anyone with it, but
right.
There might be something interesting we can do with that.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Covered with costume coats?
Yes.
Okay.
What else? The sink has to be practical. There are several times that water has to run. They have to, and in effect, has to be potable because she gets a glass of water for someone.
But she's not cooking anything. So
No.
Got it.
The fridge is very important to the business of the show. So it'll have its little light inside and all that kind of stuff.
And I understand there's a knife.
There are several knives involved in this show.
And they travel.
Yes. So what the plan is that we will have a selection of knives at the fight rehearsal, so that the fight director can say, this makes sense, and I really just need to judge the size of it because one of the actors has to have it on their person.
Oh.
So the costume designer is going to do a sheath for it. Once we know what the knife is. But we have specifically requested, because it's so complicated, as many of the real props as possible for the first fight rehearsal. Because your fight person doesn't come in very often, and we want her to look at everything and give us her feedback and make sure that nothing is going to be unsafe, that no one is going to get hurt, that we do everything as professionally and safely as we can. And safety with this particular show is a big deal. It's a big deal anyway.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that happen in this show that could go awry.
Yes.
That it is on our mind all the time.
This is very important, especially with a fight scene with a weapon. Mm-hmm. We don't often think about it, but there are bodies involved. Yeah. And after running around in a show, I don't imagine this knife comes out immediately.
Correct.
Someone's hands could be clammy or sweaty, and we need to discuss these things thoroughly so that everyone is safe. And the audience knows that you've taken care of this and they feel safe.
Yeah. And the other complicating factor is, as you may remember from Tom's introduction, the woman in the play is blind. So if something gets dropped, she can't look for it by using her eyes.
We forget those details, and
so
they have to be discussed.
I have already requested duplicates of the knives so that, for example, the knife drops and goes under the sofa. She will know that there's another knife in the drawer that she can go get.
Got it.
So that we don't have a disaster.
Does she, in her sequences with these thieves or bad people, does she use anything else from her kitchen to defend herself? As much as I love it, Tangled has ruined fights in kitchens because you can never use a frying pan because everyone thinks of Tangled and comedy now.
Yeah.
But does she use anything else?
Not really. There are items from the kitchen that are required by the script. There are several tea towels that are important to the action. There are, this is the 40s, so there are ashtrays because everybody smoked in the 40s. And again, smoking is pivotal to the action in this play.
Really? Okay.
So, we will do the minimal amount, but some of the plot points require it.
Okay.
So we have to figure out how to do that and how to do it safely. In fact, something in one of the ashtrays catches fire.
Oh.
So, we have to very carefully figure out how that works. And one of the actors is the one who's supposed to put it out in the sink. That's another time the sink gets used. So that also has to be dealt with very carefully to make sure that there's nothing flammable nearby and that everything is safe.
So do you know where the flames start? Is it near a sofa or something more flammable?
No,
or
it is
near
more.
photography equipment?
It's most likely to be on the table, on the dining room table.
Oh, okay.
Which is away from everything.
Yes. Right. And it's metal. Okay.
Yeah, and it's metal, so it should be fine. It could possibly it can't. Sorry, I remembered a different plot point.
That's all right. There's many plot points.
Yes, that counteracted what I was about to say. So that's my best guess because it's highly visible, but safe.
And this also informs your choice of props for the ashtray, right? You wouldn't get one of those lovely, amazing, heavy glass ones for this show.
Right.
You'd find something more durable that's still period.
Right, because it has to catch fire every night. Now nobody's saying we're going to see flames, but
right.
That means it has to be durable. And there's various ways that the prop person can do that.
Yeah.
That is up to her, and we'll see how it goes.
Right.
One of the other things that the set requires is a fuse box, which is the square thing that you see over the downstage counter in the kitchen. They're old screw-in fuses, and she has to use them during the show. So, part of the question is where do we put them so that they're convenient and visible to the audience when she's doing what she has to do.
Interesting.
So that's where they ended up.
Interesting.
And, we also have to be open to certain things changing. We will have a blindness coach who will come in and talk with me about how a blind person acts in their own house. For example, they don't use their white cane in their house.
Right.
Because they know where all the furniture is. That's another plot point.
Right.
So when we talk to the coach, if the coach says, a blind person would never do this would never be here, then we need to be prepared to fix that.
Do you have these meetings with your blind consultant?
We will. We have been promised a consultant, but I have not met them yet.
Is that their title, a blindness?
I don't know what title they because I'm sure we are asking them what they would like to use.
Are they as part of their? Are they specific to theater?
They are coming from a group that works with blind people.
Okay.
And the group is trying to find us someone who was either previously sighted and is now blind or is now partially sighted. And we'll see who they find.
I guess my question is, would there be a group meeting because you have to have your fight choreographer? This is a show where a blind person is scrambling away from bad people.
Right.
So her usual, my normal to get to my sofa is 6 steps from here. That's out the window because her steps are
different sizes,
not being counted. She's in a hurry.
and we will talk to the person when I meet them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and see he or she is more than welcome at the fight rehearsal. You know, that we have a huge amount of time blocked out just for that rehearsal with the fight consultant, with our intimacy director, whose job is to just make sure everybody's comfortable in what needs to be done.
Right.
And the important thing is that everybody is safe and feels safe as the fight itself is serving the show.
How long is the fight? Are there several fights that happen? Is there a lot of scrambling and then downtime and then a lot more scrambling? And
the vast majority of the fighting is on the last 5 pages of the script.
Okay.
And the vast majority of those pages are all stage directions.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are lines in there.
Yeah.
But because it is very, very specific.
Okay.
So it's going to take slowly figuring it out, then slowly walking through it, and bringing the whole thing together as much as possible, with the added fact that we have a blind person in this fight.
Right.
So that's why I don't want to short it on rehearsal time. There are we'll start at the beginning, and when we're done, if there's still rehearsal time left, we'll do some of their other scenes. But
right.
If it takes the whole evening's rehearsal, fine.
And some rehearsal periods are truncated and they're rehearsing elsewhere. They're not rehearsing on the set. But this requires this play to mostly be rehearsed on the set.
As soon as the set is, we will be rehearsing in the theater has a large green room, dressing room area, and we'll be rehearsing in there while the set is being built on the stage. And as soon as the set is there, we will move on stage.
Right.
We don't have to. Luckily, we don't have to wait for another show to close or anything.
Okay.
I mean, once that show closes, and I believe it's this weekend, then they will move that show because it's going somewhere else, and then they will start building on the set. So we're hoping, certainly by the second week, hopefully sooner than that, we'll just see how it goes.
Good.
And since it's there, if nothing else, we can just walk out and look at it.
Yes.
And people can get a feel for it, and then we'll go back in the rehearsal room
Yes.
until we can actually get on stage.
And even in the rehearsal room, will you have your furniture present?
Yes. So
Not knowing you're blocking,
yeah.
This isn't a casual sit around talk kind of furniture. We need it. This is a scramble around it, or hide behind it, or something. I imagine there's a lot more business on the stairs and under the stairs and the doors and the windows and the closets and the bedroom than being furniture centric.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are sections that are furniture centric, but everything else, basically the furniture is chosen based on all of the action.
Got it.
Because it's fine for the sitting and talking parts.
Got it. Is the majority of the play her trying to figure out if there's someone in her house?
No.
Okay.
The setup, which is not giving too much away, is that there was a murder in the neighborhood. And the police come to question her, and an old army buddy of her husband's drops by to try and catch her husband, but he's not there.
Okay.
And so the setup comes in all of that. And then her realizing that she is in danger is later in the show.
Okay. So this is not, we know you have a safe. This is, we're breaking in just for that, and we're just going to gag you and tie you up kind of thing.
No, not really. It's
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't say without
fine.
giving
That's
away
It's
the
all the
plot.
more intriguing.
Yes.
It'll be great.
So yeah, it starts as a sort of a normal day.
Yeah.
and these strange things happen around her, and eventually she gets involved, through no fault of her own.
And how many people is this? How many thieves are there?
3.
3. So it's a 4-person show total.
No, it's 6.
Because the husband comes home?
The husband is there, and there's a young girl who lives upstairs.
Okay.
Who comes in and out.
Okay.
She helps Susan, who is the lead. She goes and picks up groceries and things that are harder for Susan to do because she's blind.
Right.
So there's a total of 6 people.
And this play is not like the movie with Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, the Audrey Hepburn movie was updated to the 1960s.
Okay.
And there are, some things that changed. So it in many ways it's the same, but this movie is very different.
Okay.
It's a whole different. This is in the 40s. That is in the 60s. Clearly, the family is more affluent in the movie.
Okay.
It's a bigger home, and some of the ways that the interactions happen are different.
Okay.
It's so hard because you have to choose your words so carefully.
Yeah, so just because you like the movie, don't think that the play is exactly the same. That happens a lot.
That happens a lot.
That happens a lot more frequent than we think. So
I happen to like the play better than the movie, which is usually what happens with me. But other people will like it better the other way.
Different incarnation of a similar or the same story, depending on what you think. This set is incredible, Vickie, and it's such a good example of collaborative effort in theater to make things happen correctly, and a very open mindset to, if we find that doesn't work, we're okay. Yeah. It's not a major changeover. We've gotten all the big things ready in the right place, and now it's about stuff or a little move, that kind of thing. It's not about radical changes in measurements.
Right.
That's
and
great.
You have to, one of the things that becomes immediately clear, especially with this show, is that because there's a blind person in it, I'm not going to know all the things that are going to be important. There's no way I can know that.
Yeah.
So it is up to me as the director to remain flexible and be ready to change things at a moment's notice more than normal, because I have essentially an unknown quantity.
Yes.
And so I have to learn about that, and the actress has to learn about that, and we have to figure out how it changes how the show works and what happens in the show.
Yes. How long do you have to rehearse?
4 weeks from first rehearsal to opening night.
Okay. Which seems average, but in some places it's not.
Right.
Yeah. It's a wonderful set. Well, thank you for taking this time out to speak with me and to help educate our viewers. It's very important. So this has been Vickie Rozell with her designer,
Sarah Fickett.
At what theater?
Hillbarn Theater in Foster City, California.